Welcome to the Brown Carpet Podcast. My name's Corey Farrell.
And I'm Josh Groom.
And Josh, question for you.
Hit me.
What do we actually do on this podcast?
Corey, each week we take a weird news story.
Yes.
And we twist it into a demented pitch for a movie.
Sounds like the best idea for a podcast I've ever heard.
Well, it's not over. There's more.
Oh my God.
Once we're done with that, the listeners can jump online onto the Facebook, where they'll find a poll and they can vote for the one that they like the most.
Is that all, though? Does anything else happen after that?
No, mate, there's heaps more.
Oh my God.
Once that's gone down, we pick a winner at the end of the week, and that winner gets turned into a movie poster.
Oh my, what more would you want in your lives?
What more could you possibly need?
That's great.
Hey, we've also got a website. You can check us out at www.thebrowncarpetpod.com, where you can listen to the entire back catalogue of this nonsense.
Not to mention the usual nonsense, Twitter. You can slide into our DMs on Instagram. And don't forget, you can email us at thebrowncarpetpod@gmail.com if you want to suggest a weird news story headline that you would like us to movify. Movify?
Movify.
Movify.
It's a new word.
And then we'll give you a shout out and we email you a poster maybe, even if you... I don't know. Depends how... I don't want to promise anything.
Yeah, no promises.
No promises. Just do it.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass.
He jumped over 3 linebackers in midair, sprouted headless like a gazelle.
No one laughs at a master of quack fu.
Real nice. Many have died from starvation due to the difficulty of finding enough food, such as seals.
Shut up. No more Mr. Nice Duck. That's it. Right, Mr. Sitz?
What do you make of that? You know, it's the most fantastic story I've ever heard.
The Brown Carpet Podcast.
Joshua.
Corey?
Episode 11.
It is.
We're here. We made it past 10.
Yeah, they said we'd never make it.
Who was they?
I don't know.
Your mum and dad?
Well, I was about to say your mum, but...
Yeah.
So this is the Meanwhile in Florida episode, and it's our first episode that we have a guest in the studio with us.
And who was that guest sitting right across from me and next to you?
Let's let her introduce herself.
Yeah.
What is your name?
Oh, hi, I'm Sally Lopez.
This is Sally.
Hey, Sally. Welcome.
Awesome to have you on board.
Thank you so much for having me.
It's a pleasure.
So me and Sally go way back. We used to work together.
A long time ago.
We did. Mm-hmm. I don't take this the wrong way, but I once photographed Sally's pooch. That's not a euphemism. I literally took photos of her dog for Newtown Festival.
Oh, that's great. Yep.
And Sally's just a really funny person who now is a stand-up comedian.
She is.
And was recently up at Falls Festival playing a trade.
Yeah. I was part of the Wollongong comedy crew, and yeah, we had a really, really good time. And for someone who's not a festival person, I got right into it towards
You
the
got
end.
involved.
Just a little bit.
Covered in mud, drunk, hurling herself around, dreadlocks, henna tattoo.
Spending hours in Portaloos.
Too many hours in Portaloos.
Yeah. Shall we delve in?
Let's delve. Let's delve deep. Shall we do paper, rock, scissors to see who goes first?
Okay.
You look like a paper man. I see it in your eyes. Yeah, okay, let's go. 1, 2, 3.
I'm in your brain now.
Corey's on a win streak.
I'm in your brain. All right, so I'll go first then. Sally will go in the middle.
Yep.
And then you go on the end.
Indeed. So what did you find for your news story this week?
Well, thanks to Florida. Shout out to Florida. This is a good one. It's a pretty short story. It's not really... I had to pad it out a fair bit.
Okay.
But the headline reads...
Just like your mum's brother.
Florida clerk smashes jar of ranch dressing onto Darth Vader armed robber.
Okay. Darth Vader armed?
Armed robber.
Okay, right. He doesn't have Darth Vader's arms. He has weapons. Okay.
Jacksonville, Florida. A Florida man dressed up as Darth Vader failed to rob a convenience store on Sunday after a hero clerk took action. Police said the suspect, identified as Jacob Mercer, threatened the store clerk with a gun and demanded money when the employee hit him with the jar of ranch dressing.
Could have at least brought a lightsaber.
After Mercer left the store, the suspect removed his mask and was identified by a witness. He was later charged with armed robbery and possession of a firearm by a convicted felon.
By a convicted
Yeah,
felon?
I think that's a typo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are your news sources, mate? So what have you done with this bizarre Star Wars-related story?
Well, I have 2 titles, and I'll let you guys decide which one's better.
He always brings options.
First one's Jar Wars. which is pretty punny.
I like it.
Or 7-Eleven Inside Job.
Oh, yeah. Jar Wars.
Jar Wars. Yeah,
okay. All right. Let me paint a picture. We open on a do-it-yourself car wash late at night. A young man is washing his Honda Civic with the utmost care and attention, sensually soaping the suds of his taillights, wondrously wiping his windshield. A little too much attention, some would say.
Getting erotic.
You see, our friend Garth Clutterbuck, played by Richard Ayoade, you know the dude from IT Crowd?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, nerdy dude, yeah.
Yeah, love him.
A 37-year-old Star Wars-obsessed loner is very much in love with his car. That's right, Garth is in a sexual relationship with his ride.
Oh, he's one of those.
It's safe to say Garth more than ghost rides his whip.
Have you seen the documentary on those dudes?
Yeah.
Hump their car. It's
I
awesome.
missed that one.
It's good.
Cut to morning via a loud knock at the door. It's 10 a.m, which is early for Garth, who is gainfully unemployed. Spending most of his nights reading Star Wars fan fiction, nude, whilst rubbing himself against the leathery back seats of his car, whom he affectionately calls Rhonda.
Okay.
Honda.
I thought it would have a Star Wars name.
Yeah, I missed a trick there.
Come on, mate.
Back to the knock at the door. Garth wades through the piles of Kleenex and auto rags strewn across the floor to answer. Opening the door, we see a blue-collar tow truck driver named Cheryl Bracegirdle, played by Bridget Everett.
Once again, your names are exceptional.
She's a no-nonsense, tough-as-nails woman who has no qualms with using her knuckles. I'm here to repo your car, she groans. No, you can't. She's all I have, Garth fires back. Watch me, she replies, with a glint of try me in her eye. Defeated, Garth watches as Rhonda is towed away into the distance.
No.
Yeah, it's a sad part of the film. Desperate and alone, Garth paces up and down his living room, masterminding a way to return Rhonda to the driveway of his heart. And then it hits him, like a lightsaber to the skull. He runs to his room. Next we see him standing determined in front of the mirror wearing all black. We see him slowly lift a Darth Vader mask up to his head and put it on. Cut to 7-Eleven clerk Willie Cornfoot, played by Christopher Mintz-Passy, which is McLovin, from
Oh,
Superbad.
yeah, McLovin.
Willie is going about his daily duties at the 7-Eleven, serving customers fuel, stocking the shelves and topping up the slushy machines. Back behind the counter, Willie spots something in the corner of his eye. He sees a dark object approach the service station on the CCTV security monitor. Before he can look up, someone bursts through the door holding a Glock. It's our mate Garth, dressed as Darth.
Oh, Garth is Darth.
Garth is Darth.
I see what you did there. There's always layers to the names.
Willie very slowly raises his hands above his head, assuring our Darth Vader look-alike here that he wants no trouble. Willie, through fear or adrenaline, or drinking too much slushy, or maybe a curdled combo of all three, slips into a weird frozen dream state. Garth looks on confused as he shouts his commands for the cash. Meanwhile, deep in Willie's brain, he sees an apparition of his old boss, Kobe Juan Nairobi, played by Jeffrey Arend.
Hang on, Willie's boss? The clerk's boss?
Yeah.
Okay.
Who was gunned down one night shift a year ago. So it's like he's the ghost of his
dark
old
memories.
boss.
I gotcha.
Kobe, hovering angelically like a hologram in his mind, comes closer and closer to Willie. When he gets close enough, he imparts the following words. Use the sauce, Willie. Use the sauce. As if being shaken awake, Willie comes to and grabs the closest object, which happens to be a jar of ranch dressing, and hurls it full force at Garth. We see this from the POV angle of Garth. The jar spinning end over end in slow motion until it hits him directly between the eyes. He falls to the ground, and the last thing we see is Willie standing over him. Good prevails as Rhonda stays impounded, and Garth finds out what it's like to be the car in his first prison relationship.
So he never gets his car back.
Nah. And he goes to jail.
So he's a bit of an anti-hero, and then it's a sad ending with him getting raped in jail.
Yeah.
Bring your tissues to that one.
Yeah.
For both reasons.
For all the reasons.
So I've got two taglines.
Okay.
First one is, more jars than Jar Jar Binks. Or in a 7-Eleven far, far away.
Oh, that's nice.
It's poetic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
The cast...
The less we mention Jar Jar Binks ever again.
I know. He's had too much airtime as it is, hasn't he? Cast is Richard Ayoade as Garth Clutterbuck.
He's great.
Bridget Everett is Cheryl Bracegirdle.
Hang on, who's Bridget Everett?
She's in the Amy Schumer show.
Oh, Trainwrecked. And she's in Trainwrecked
Yeah,
too. She's like a...
a bigger blonde woman. She's super funny.
Gotcha.
And Christopher Mintz-Passy as McLovin is Willie Cornfoot.
Yep.
And Jeffrey Arend, he plays Kobe Juan Nairobi. The soundtrack is Help Me Rhonda by the Beach Boys is one of the songs.
Nice.
And the rest is the Star Wars themed metal band Galactic Empire. And $5 milli for the budget, I reckon.
$5 mil.
Yeah, that'll do it.
I think that'll do it.
That's me.
Yeah, I like it. I like it a lot.
Take my money.
You're keen? You're gonna...
Sally's in.
Sally's in. I've still got questions.
Okay, hit me.
How deep are we going to go into the autoeroticism at the start?
I think that's a big part of it, yeah.
Yeah, like we're really going to see him greasing it up and
like
getting
a
inside
misty filtered lens.
You'll have the
Right.
hands on the window like in Titanic.
the Titanic
Yeah,
moment.
yeah.
Yeah,
totally. That'd be
all
great.
heated up, getting steamy on the inside.
Yeah, writhing around in the back of his Civic.
So really, I mean, if anyone can make it through that first 20 minutes, then they'll probably enjoy the film, but it's that first 20 minutes that's going to be a hard watch.
It's going to be a hard wash.
Just some dude
Or
humping
an
it.
easy watch.
Yeah,
Depending
depending on what you're into.
What you're into.
So, Sally,
All right.
you're up. What have you got for us?
All right, here's my headline. Feline fury. Florida woman attacked by cat, run over by own car.
She's run over by her car, or she ran her cat over?
No, she gets run over by her own car.
Yeah, wow.
That's an effort.
Okay, so here's the story. In case you thought your day couldn't get any worse, imagine being attacked by a cat in your own car and then run over by your own vehicle as it backed out in reverse as you tried to escape. There was one situation for one woman Friday evening in Cocoa, Florida. Florida.
Sure.
Florida Highway Patrol says the cat conundrum occurred in a car parked in the grass in front of a house as she prepared to drive off. Troopers say the feline jumped in the car and attacked her. Apparently the woman was so startled that she forgot the car was in reverse. As she attempted to escape, the car ran over her and struck a parked car as well.
Wow. Wow.
That is an amazing effort.
It's a bad day.
Is there any video footage of this? Can we watch?
No. There's just a picture of the car.
So disappointing.
I know.
Was it her cat? A stray cat?
No details.
No
about the cat.
details.
I like to think it was her own cat.
Yeah.
They should have interviewed the cat. So my title is The Cat That Rocks the Cray Cray. And guys, this is a romance.
Oh.
Okay.
And a thriller.
I'll dim the lights.
Yeah. A little bit of mood music for us.
Ooh, thank you.
No one can see that. Why would I do that?
Yeah.
So a romance and a thriller. So a thrillmance, if you will.
Ah, okay.
Yep.
All right, so we open up in a small house party in Cocoa, Florida. It's New Year's Eve. While everyone is counting down in slow motion, Dan, played by Charlie Hunnam from Sons of Anarchy.
Oh, yeah, he's hot.
Good sort.
Yes. Locks eyes with Lucy, played by Emilia Clarke from Game of Thrones. They smile at each other and walk slowly towards each other. The clock strikes midnight. Hi, says Dan. Hi, says Lucy. Cut 2, cat shelter a few blocks away. A small orange tomboy cat is trying to break out of his cage using a sharpened claw. An old, fat, grey cat in the cage next door has been watching him. Hey, fella, how many lives you got left?
I'm hoping the voice is
Talking
going
cats.
the whole way through.
I love it.
Me, I got 3. And if I ever break out of here, I'm going to turn over a new leaf. I swear, I swear. The orange tomboy pauses and shakes his head. I'm down to my last one. Why the new leaf? We're a cat, so we're perfect. The grey cat replies. Don't you know if you don't use one of your...
Sorry. That's amazing. I love it.
The grey cat replies. Don't you know if you don't use one of your lives for good and not evil, you don't get to go to cat heaven? The orange cat rolls his eyes. Ah, baloney. It's true, says the whole cat shelter in unison. At that moment, the lock clicks open. The orange tomboy is free. As he jumps to the floor, the grey cat sticks out his paw. Be a good cat. Be a good cat. Cut 2. Dan and Lucy are walking down a moonlit street, besotted. We find out that Dan has just moved here from Miami to write country and western songs. Lucy is an artist who paints houses to pay the rent, but her real love is painting landscapes with horses in them. They stop to kiss. In almost an instant, the sky gets dark, clouds appear out of nowhere, and it starts to rain. Oblivious, they keep kissing until they hear a little meow. They both look down to find an orange tomboy, drenched to the bone.
Oh, it's a pungent romance.
Yeah.
Steamy.
Time for a montage. We see a montage of Dan and Lucy moving in, along with the orange tomboy, who they've named Murphy. Lucy paints with Murphy over her shoulder, who sometimes plays with the paintbrush. While watching them paint, Dan is stretched out on the couch wearing nothing but jeans, strumming his guitar and writing lyrics. They're all very happy, including Murphy, who's decided to live his last life for good and be the protector of true love. They paint, they write songs, they make sweet, sweet love to each other.
Oh,
Yeah.
Fairy
Not the
tale.
cat, not the cat.
No,
Cat stays out of the love making.
Yeah, cat
Yeah,
doesn't.
yeah.
he just watches from the other side of the door.
It's a cuckold thing.
Yeah, right.
They love Murphy, but they don't love Murphy. One night, Lucy's in the kitchen making pancakes for dinner. Murphy supervises, and Dan walks in, gets down on one knee, and presents a ring that he pulls from his pocket. Lucy jumps up and down and says yes, and accidentally knocks over 3 litres of milk, which goes everywhere as Lucy and Dan slide down and make passionate love on the kitchen tiles.
Milky.
Milky love. Murphy is delighted as he licks up the milk in the corner, but suddenly he hears something outside.
This cat's kinky.
It's like way over there. It's way,
okay.
way over there.
Heaps dirtier than I thought it would get.
Murphy licks up the milk in the corner, but suddenly he hears something outside, and before he has a chance to warn his humans, a brick is thrown into the kitchen window, spraying glass all over the naked lovemaking. The brick has a note: "Stay away from DJ Maximilian." Cut to Dan.
No, what? Stay away from DJ Maximilian?
DJ Maximilian.
Is this the first we've heard of DJ?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay,
yes.
cool. All right. Continue.
Okay, I'm curious.
Yeah.
Keep
Okay.
going.
All right. Cut to Dan and Lucy on the couch, bandaged up. Murphy sits between them. Dan, almost in tears, confesses. Through a series of flashbacks, we see Dan as famous Miami DJ Maximilian.
He's got a DJ pass line.
He's got a secret line.
Yes.
He tried to run. Tanned, covered in bling, muscles bigger than necessary. It's a life of dance floors, drugs, neon lights. In the flashback, his girlfriend Tiffany, played by Emily Ratajkowski.
Yep, I'm aware.
Yep,
Yeah.
the blurred lines.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
He was a social media climber, is constantly taking selfies with Dan over her shoulder, becoming famous by riding him and riding his coattail. She realizes if Dan proposes, Mr. DJ Maximilian proposes, she could gain further fame, so she gives him an ultimatum. He says no. And after a violent scene at the club, she trashes the apartment, drives off with his car, his money, and all of his clothes. They haven't spoken since.
Heartless.
No wonder he's got into country music.
I would too. Cut back to the living room. Murphy cracks his little claws. We then see a series of intimidation games played by Tiffany to Lucy, all untraceable, so nothing can be brought back to the police. Death threats, her paintings destroyed, a pig's head at the doorstep,
Oh.
a car chase that nearly leaves Lucy dead behind the wheel, and then for no reason at all, it suddenly stops. In a stroke of luck, one of Dan's songs that he wrote has caught attention of a music producer in Nashville, and they want to fly Dan over to meet him. He is hesitant, but Lucy insists. It's like Tiffany has gotten it out of her system and it's over.
But is it over?
Yeah.
Is it?
I don't trust this, Tiffany.
Lucy drops Dan off at the airport and they have a big long pash, and then she drives home. When she opens the door, she finds Tiffany on the couch holding a knife. Murphy is locked in a cat carriage behind her.
Oh. Tiffany.
Tiffany.
She's been waiting.
I hate Tiffany.
She would have set that whole thing up with the producer too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm reading something to it. Sorry.
Stop ruining the story.
Sorry.
No. The casting couch. I get it. I thought I told you to stay away from DJ Maximilian. Tiffany growls. Lucy takes a breath in and hisses back. DJ Maximilian is dead. Suddenly they go at it in a violent fight, trashing a house in the process. Tiffany is strong from years of Tai Bo, but unknowingly, Lucy has gained karate skills from all the years of painting the houses. As the cat...
Wax on, wax off?
Yeah, wax on, wax
Yeah,
off.
right, okay.
Exactly. As the cat fight, for lack of a better word, continues, Murphy is frantically trying to unlock the cage with his claw. Just as Lucy is knocked to the ground unconscious, the cage clicks open. Murphy walks slowly towards Tiffany, letting out a low growl. One of those... One of those ones.
I know the ones. Yeah.
Tiffany starts...
Sorry, can I hear it one more time? Okay,
Perfect.
Cool. Sorry. Cool.
Yeah,
It's better the second time.
Tiffany starts to run, but she is no match for Murphy's fury. Tiffany runs into the car, but just before she shuts the door, Murphy jumps in.
Yes.
Here we go.
Yes. And it would cut to an external shot of the car. We watch in complete silence. After a few seconds, Tiffany jumps out screaming, covered in cat scratches and blood. Her hair, clothes, jeans are in complete shreds. Panicked and disoriented, she runs to the back of the car just as Murphy pushes down the clutch. The car rolls backwards and knocks Tiffany to the ground.
Get him, Murphy.
Yes. And we cut to credits. As we roll, we see a series of black and white photos of Dan and Lucy's wedding. And each one, Murphy is there, staring straight into the camera with a knowing look. When the time comes, he'll get into cat heaven.
Oh,
he's
that's
done
so
it.
good.
It's glorious.
It got a bit like, I kind of felt like that was like a wide shot from across the road, like an art house thing. It was just quiet, but there was all this commotion going on in the car.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Just
really
like
dark.
that silent moment with all the chaos and the fury and the hair flying.
I liked it.
Yeah.
That was really
It's
good, Sally.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
What's your tagline for the film?
Mess with Murphy. What a catastrophic idea.
I love a pun.
Yeah, it does love a pun.
What a good pun.
So what was the cast again?
Okay, so the cast is Charlie Hunnam, Amelia Clark, Emily... I'll let you handle this one, Josh.
Ratatouille.
I'll take a shot. Ratajkowski.
Yep.
And
I totally mispronounced that.
and the cat, I think we'd have to find an unknown. I know that my cat's dad would do it for like tins of tuna.
Your cat's dad would do it?
Yeah, for sure, hands down. And the budget, I'm thinking $10 million because the Miami scenes need to be really slick.
Yep.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
Okay.
Yep. Talking
and-
cats to train.
Yeah.
They have to learn English and stuff. And music could be like an ode to cats. It includes Honky Cat by Elton John, The Love Cats by The Cure,
Nice.
Yep.
What's New Pussycat by Tom Jones, and for the finale cat scene, Cats in the Cradle by Harry Chaplin.
Yeah,
Oh,
nice.
It's beautiful.
Perfect.
It's beautiful.
I really dig it.
Evocative.
I liked the DJ Maximilian backstory.
It's good.
You can never outrun EDM, can you?
No. The wheels of steel will find you.
I mean, that's what your past is all about, isn't it, Josh?
I'd rather you didn't talk about it, especially not on air.
I'll tell you after the show.
Josh,
Corey?
to complete this Florida weird sandwich, you are the bread.
Well, I found a news story this week, straight out of Florida. The headline is, Florida woman fighting to keep trained pet gator.
Nice.
Oh.
You need to see the photos of this. We're going to throw them up on the
I have seen a photo.
They are amazing.
The one on the quad bike?
The one on the quad bike. Don't give too much away, mate.
Okay.
Rambo may be green and scaly, but he's not like other alligators. The 125-pound reptile wears clothes, can ride on the back of a motorcycle, and has his own bedroom. Everyone will tell you that I treat the animal like a baby, owner Mary Thorne said. He doesn't do anything that a normal gator does. Thorne says he's practically a celebrity in the Lakeland area where they live, but now she's struggling to keep ownership of her beloved companion.
Real quick, I know this is Florida, but how many people let their babies ride quad bikes?
I think in Florida quite a few do. I think it's a well-done thing. At 15 years old, Rambo is nearly 6 feet long, which means he's now required by law to have 2.5 acres of land available to him, according to the Florida Fish and Wildlife. Thorne says even if he had the extra land, Rambo wouldn't be able to use it because he has a sensitivity to sunlight.
Oh, poor Rambo.
So yeah, that's the story of Rambo and Mary.
What are you going to do with this?
Well, the title of my adaptation is Rampaging Rambo McSnappy. So the film it's an animated film.
Josh loves alliteration.
It's the adventures of a 6-foot-tall stunt gator from Florida called Rambo McSnappy, to be voiced by Matthew McConaughey.
Ooh, awesome!
Good choice.
He's got that good
All
southern
right,
drawl.
all right.
So when we first meet Rambo, he's a world-famous motorcycle daredevil, about to attempt his greatest and craziest stunt yet. He's given a TV interview to Spike Frothbeard, an Australian newsreader, and a kidner, voiced by Hugh Jackman. The stunt will be his crowning achievement. After a death-defying 20-year career, this will be his last jump before retirement.
Yeah.
Rambo thanks his fans for their support and signs off by shooting the double finger guns down the lens of the camera.
Smooth.
His wife, Honey Munro, a busty honey badger, wearing neon red lipstick, she tells him that she thinks this is a bad idea, but she loves him anyway. She gives him a hug and one last lucky kiss. Honey is to be voiced by Selma Hayek.
Nice.
A massive crowd of 100,000 people have gathered to watch, all wearing their Rambo McSnappy t-shirts, and hundreds of news cameras from around the world beam coverage around the globe. The stunt is pure madness. He's going to use one of the sails of the Sydney Opera House as a ramp to leap his bike through a fireworks display and onto a floating barge in Sydney Harbour while blindfolded.
Ambitious.
It is ambitious, but to make the stunt more dangerous, they've filled the harbour with hungry great white sharks. He takes off on his run-up, zooms up the side of the Opera House and launches into the air. Around him, fireworks explode, and the crowd is silenced in awe and ecstasy at the magnificence of it all. In mid-air, though, Rambo loses his grip on the motorbike, and it starts to float away.
Oh.
A look of panic comes across his face. He's not going to make it. The crowd gasps. Suddenly, everything freezes, like someone hit a pause button on the world, except for Rambo, who's still suspended in mid-air, looking around in confusion. Out of a nearby dark cloud swoops the devil, to be voiced by Dave Grohl. He hovers beside Rambo and explains that he's about to crash horrifically and suffer serious injuries, embarrassment and shame, unless he's prepared to make a deal.
Oh, deal with the devil.
The deal is this. If the devil lets him land the jump, once a year at midnight on New Year's Eve, Rambo will grow to 300 foot tall, turn into a rage monster, and trample whatever city he happens to be in at the time.
What the fuck is going on?
Well, it's a deal with the devil, mate. They're never easy. After some consideration, Rambo agrees. They shake hands and the devil flies off laughing into the thick black clouds. In an instant, reality is unpaused and Rambo is flying through the air again. But now his bike is drifting back towards him. He manages to grab it and land the incredible jump to the delight of thousands of screaming fans. Rambo is showered in worldwide adulation, which he enjoys, but a part of him is wary of the consequences of the deal. We flash forward to New Year's Eve. It's 11:54 p.m. Rambo and Honey are at a fancy celebrity house party. The party is rocking on a huge balcony beside a pool overlooking Hollywood. Rambo is messy drunk, like heavy duty, middle of a blackout drunk.
Is he high on cocaine?
That's probably involved. It seems the plan to deal with the impending rampage is to get as shit-faced as he can possibly get. Rambo stumbles into the bathroom while drinking directly from a bottle of tequila. Looking into the bathroom mirror, his reflection disappears and is replaced by the devil, reminding him of what happens at midnight. They argue and Rambo smashes a tequila bottle onto the mirror, ending the conversation. There's a knocking at the door. It's Honey. She's concerned if he's okay and worried if he's going to miss the midnight fireworks. Rambo doesn't answer. Outside, the countdown begins.
Oh, no.
Rambo sits on the toilet, his head hung. The knocking gets heavier and more frantic. Outside, the chanting of partygoers becomes louder and more excited. 3, 2, 1, happy! Rambo wakes up in his own bed. He is terribly hungover. He groans and he rolls out, shambles to the bathroom. He flicks on the radio and starts an epically long piss. The song comes to an end and a news report begins. Recapping our top news story, New Year's Eve celebrations turned cataclysmic disaster last night as an obviously drunken monster rampaged through the Hollywood Hills, killing upward of 6,000 people before vomiting on the Hollywood sign and moonwalking away through Santa Monica and out into the ocean. Rambo's eyes widen and his pee stops midstream. He rushes to the television and flips it on. Highlights of his monstrous devastation are on every channel. It's the clumsiest smash fest you've ever seen, with the monster falling over constantly, picking an unprovoked fight with a US bank tower, and of course the shameful projectile vomiting episode.
Oh no, Rambo.
Rambo, what's he done? Honey walks into the room. She looks super mad. Her bags are packed. She tells him she can put up with a lot of things, but she refuses to live with a monster.
Damn straight.
even one that she loves. Rambo sinks into a deep, dark depression. We see a montage of debaucherous self-destructive activity. More drinking, drugs, women, gambling and Nickelback concerts.
That's unforgivable.
The lowest of the low. One night, after being kicked out of a casino for urinating on the blackjack table, Rambo collapses in a pile of garbage behind a Hooters restaurant. From the dumpster beside him comes a dark cloud, and out of the black smoke emerges the devil, who's disgusted by what he sees. The devil concedes that at this rate, Rambo won't even survive till next New Year's, and he gives him one opportunity to opt out of the deal. But in order to do so, he'll have to leave behind everything he loves. Rambo agrees. The dark smoke clears, and the devil disappears. In his place is Honey, wearing her Hooters uniform and looking down at him with love. She leans down and gives him a kiss. There's a blinding flash of light and a wormhole opens up, dragging Rambo away and into an alternate dimension.
Jesus.
The last sequence of the film is no longer animation, it's now live action, and we see the actual Rambo, the gator who lives in Lakeland, Florida, with a crazy lady called Mary, played by Kathy Bates, who likes to dress him up in people clothes and ride him around on an ATV. He can't talk in this dimension, but we can hear his thought track as he and Mary cruise down the highway on a Harley and off into the Florida sunset. All right, all right, all right.
He got a new start as a real-life gator in Florida.
Yeah, he's mute and gets ridden around by a crazy woman, but it's a new life.
That's great.
I've got a question.
Do you?
Just one?
So does he remember this past?
Yeah, clearly. That's part of the torture. He can't speak, he can't articulate. He remembers Honey, he remembers all of it. But he's just getting dressed up by this loon down in Florida.
So he led this crazy Evel Knievel type rock star lifestyle.
Yeah.
And then went up a baby gator in Florida
Yeah.
riding quad bikes.
Do you think that he would have died in the first scene?
He would have been horrifically injured, I'd say. And I intentionally had him jump the shark in the first scene.
Yeah, I didn't miss
It could
that.
only go downhill
Literal
from there.
jumping the shark.
He literally jumped multiple sharks in the first scene.
I missed
And then
it.
it went all. I thought you of all people would pick that
Yeah,
up.
damn it.
I got a tagline.
Yeah, go on.
When this daredevil meets the devil himself, they unleash a gatornado. Is that a thing? Can you have a gatornado?
You made it.
I did. Rambo's theme music will be Alligator Ass by Steven Seagal. You know Steven Seagal is a jazz musician?
No.
I did not know.
It's very embarrassing, but look up Alligator Ass. He actually has a few jazz albums out.
I'm going to look that up.
It's horrendous. The Devil's theme music will be Probot, which is Dave Grohl's metal band.
Okay.
So our actors are Matthew McConaughey is Rambo, Selma Hayek is Honey, Hugh Jackman is Spike Frothbeard, the journalist.
Yep.
And Kathy Bates as Mary. Budget-wise, I have no idea. How much do you reckon an animated film costs?
A lot.
I looked it up. How much do you think the new Pixar film Coco cost to make?
100 million.
175 million bucks.
Wow.
So I reckon I need about that to do it right.
Yeah, definitely.
About 175.
76 for the alligators. You need an alligator.
An extra 76? Yeah, we'll do it for 250 flat.
No, I meant and a bit more for the alligator.
Yeah.
So you're going to have a trained alligator for the end?
No, we used the actual Rambo.
Oh.
Yeah.
The real Rambo in
Go
real
down to
life.
Florida and get him. Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Very good. Very weird.
Well, that's episode 11. We're all done. You got 3 films this week to think about. You got Corey's film,
Jar Wars.
You got Sally's film,
The cat that rocks the cray-cray.
and my film, Rampaging Rambo McSnappy. So jump on the Facebook page. You'll find a poll pinned to the top of the page. Vote on the one that you think is the least horrific. And at the end of the week, we'll have a winner and a bespoke movie poster we made just for it.
That's right. And if you've got any headlines you want to suggest, you can email us at thebrowncarpetpod@gmail.com and we'll do it. Sally, do you have any stuff you want to plug? Any shows coming up or anything you want to talk about?
I do, thank you. So I've got February 1st in Wollongong at the Little Prince. And I've also have February 12th at the Comedy Lounge in Surrey Hills.
Oh, nice. I know Reese.
You do?
He's a nice guy.
He's awesome. We love Reese.
Yeah.
All right, that's it. Until next week.
Roll out the brown carpet.
See you, cunts.
Don't forget to flush.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass.
He jumped over 3 linebackers in midair, sprouted endless, like a gazelle.
No one laughs at a master of quack fool.
Real nice.
Many have died from starvation due to the difficulty of finding enough food, such as seals.
No more Mr. Nice Duck. That's it. Right, Mr. Sitz?
What do you make of that? You know, it's the most fantastic story I've ever heard.
The Brown Carpet Podcast.